Yes.
Hello to everyone. My name is Ernesta, and I would like to welcome you to our digital meetup, which is dedicated today for the travel around the world in legal tech. But before we start, I would like to give you a very quick intro on Legal Hackers community so you would know us better and you would understand why we are here. So, in principle, we are the community which unifies legal tech fans who are sharing their knowledge, who are sharing their problems in order to find a solutions. And all the time, what we do, we are trying to find creative ways how to solve the problems or in the area which where law and tech interact. So today we have a very special event because it is organized per cooperation with other legal tech legal hackers chapters. With chapter in Kyiv and Douala. Dimitri and Epanti, would you like to say hello to your communities?
Hey everyone, this is Apanti from Cameroon, Douala, Legal Hackers, Douala. It's amazing having all of you here. I think I'm still, yeah, I'll still put it on my face mask, sorry. So it's amazing having all of you here to share this very interesting topic on legal technology. We know the situation the world is facing now, the crisis and so on. So we need to make use of innovative tools that are available. Hello?
I have muted Dima, don't worry, continue.
Yeah, so we need to use innovative ways in our practices and so on and so forth for efficiency because we know our clients today are very demanding in terms of efficiency and low cost required legal services. So it's amazing. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for sharing this learning journey with us and hope you enjoy yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Apanti. So, I would also would like to use a moment and invite you to join our communities, our local chapters. If you are a legal tech fan or you have some ideas which you would like us to discuss with our community, do not hesitate to contact us and share your thoughts. You are also very welcome to follow us on our social media because we do have a lot of interesting content where. And now I would like to introduce amazing, and perhaps super amazing people, Nikki and Chris, co-founders of Legaltech Hub, who will lead us through the journey around the world in legal tech. So hello, Nikki. Hello, Chris. We are so grateful and super excited and happy to have you here in our digital meetup.
Thank you so much, Ernesta. Thank you, everyone, for having us. And we will try very hard to live up to super amazing.
Yes. I've never been described that way before, but
we love it.
We love it.
I'm going to now share my screen so that we can get started. Ernesta, are you able to see our screen? I just want to confirm that people can see us. Okay, terrific.
Yes,
wonderful. So first of all, to very briefly describe who we are, Ernesta introduced us. We are the co-founders of Legaltech Hub. We are also married to one another, Chris Ford and Nikki Shaver. We have 2 children. And I am a lawyer by background. I practiced for 9 years in both private practice and in-house before moving into the field of legal innovation, which I've been working in for the past 8 years or so. And we are fairly international. So I practice law in Sydney, Australia. And then I've worked in legal innovation in Canada, and now we are based in New York City. And in fact, I was born and grew up in Europe. So a little bit of an international flavor.
Yeah, and I come from a business development and marketing background. I'm not a lawyer, but I've worked in the legal industry for a number of years. I worked in Australia and Canada for LexisNexis, and more recently with Axiom and ALSP here in New York. And I am now the Chief Marketing Officer for Xero. We're an email management tool here in New York as well.
And I also have a day job as the Managing Director of Innovation and Knowledge at a large law firm that is based in New York. So today we're going to go through the origin story for Legaltech Hub, how we developed the solution, and then we will share with you a little bit of the expertise that we gained along the way. So first of all, identifying a problem. Really, the problem that we identified came about as a result of the rise of legal tech globally, which many of you will know about. But there has been an enormous rise in legal technology over the past 5 to 10 years, really a booming industry with many, many different solutions on the market. And along with the growth of solutions in the market, the investment in legal technology has also boomed. In 2015, venture capitalists would not have been particularly interested in legal tech. I've seen quotes to indicate this wasn't a field that they thought worthy of particular investment. But in 2018, investment in this industry hit $1 billion. Just a few weeks ago, Brighter, a German solution, raised $66 million. And this is growing all of the time. So it's becoming a real area of technology that is significant on a global scale. And one of the reasons for that is increased competition in the market. So it very much used to be the case that for legal work, you went to law firms. And for cross-border commercial deals, you went to large law firms. That's changing now. We're seeing ALSPs come up and take more of the market share from law firms than was ever anticipated before. We're seeing the big four accounting firms take up market share, particularly in regions where law has been deregulated and it is feasible for non-lawyers to perform legal work and provide legal advice.
Sorry, Nikki, can I interrupt because we can see only first page of your presentation. So
okay.
So this is like, just short interruption.
That is peculiar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you see me switching slides?
No.
Okay. I'm not sure what to do, Ernesta, because I haven't done this before in Google Meet, and I am using PowerPoint, and we're moving from one slide to the next. Let me see what I can do.
I mean, do you click present now?
That's what I did before.
Okay, let's try to.
Screen.
Or you can also alternatively share, presentation with me, so I could also stop and share the screen. Try to press stop and share the screen. Has joined. Okay, presenting. Now we can see first slide, second one.
Oh, good.
What we will cover today. Yes, working perfectly.
So these are all the slides that you have missed. Apologies.
Yeah.
So this was the rise of legal tech globally. This is the investment in legal tech. This is the increased competition in the market. So you can see there are new law entrants to the market. There's corporate in-house legal. And this is an excerpt from a study that is conducted of law firm providers on an annual basis. It's a study conducted by Altman Weil. What's interesting here is this is one of the questions on the survey. It's asking law firms to which competitors are they losing business. What I think is really interesting here is that from the top two results, you can see that, in fact, in addition to ALSPs and new law firms are also losing business to their own clients, because corporate in-house departments are keeping more work internally and also using technology tools that reduce the need for outside counsel. General counsel are under tremendous cost pressure, which means that they're sending less work out and keeping more of the work in, because that frankly costs less to them. And as you can see from the headlines on the screen, innovation has really been touted as a remedy to all of this competition in the market. What do you do when you're under cost pressure and clients want you to work more efficiently and in a streamlined manner? You innovate, often using technology. And that has resulted in a boom.
Yes, look, as you can see here, and Nikki alluded to it before about the massive explosion in investment in legal technology and the increase in the number of legal technology providers that are out there. This is just a really small snapshot of the number of vendors that are in the legal tech space across different functionalities, and we'll talk in a little bit about the actual numbers that are involved in legal technology all around the world.
And along with the growth of legal technology has come the growth of alternative roles in legal. So it's now common for law firms to have roles internally, including data analysts, legal technologists, legal project managers, and also with in-house departments to have legal operations groups and people who are really dedicated to innovation in the world of law. And I am one of those people. I sit within a law firm and I work in an alternative role in legal now. And there are very many reasons why in roles like mine, we frequently need to find the right solution, the right legal technology tool. And a number of those use cases are set out here, but they include the need to solve problems for either our lawyers and our clients, the need to build a business case around a particular solution we want to bring in the door and to show that we've scanned the market for other solutions. In some cases, we want to understand what the competitive landscape is around a particular solution. So sometimes people mention a tool and we go to find it, but it's tricky to do so because sometimes they have names that are really difficult. You're not quite sure how to spell them, especially because this industry is really so global. So an example is that there are two tools called Cicero on the market. Neither of them is spelled the way that you think. And so even if you know the name of a tool, going to Google to try to find it can be challenging. So there are all kinds of reasons that I personally and my colleagues were frequently going to Google to try to find particular solutions or categories of solutions.
So there are a lot of different ways where if you're trying to find a solution to a use case that traditionally people looked, there was all kinds of lists of legal technology providers out there. We found that many of them were unclear as to what the true functionality that these tools offered, because a lot of the time, and we use the term pay to play, a lot of the time to be included on a list of software or solutions, the vendor or the tool would actually pay to be on there. So it makes sense for them to list as many functionalities as possible, or even regions, so that they appear on more searches. A lot of the lists were out of date because unfortunately, so many vendors have gone out of business. They are not user-friendly because they don't offer a real search functionality. Basically, they weren't designed for the user. They were designed to be platforms for the vendors.
And Google was inadequate because it just was very difficult to find what you're looking for on Google. You can't restrict it to legal. It throws up so many results, but not particularly relevant results. And what we also realized in 2019, I was doing a lot of travel for work. And this is, all of you will be aware of this. When you're servicing international clients who need to operate in multiple languages, that's even harder. So I actually spoke to a Lithuanian law firm who told me they have to service clients in 5 different languages. And to find technology that was able to accommodate that need was incredibly difficult, partly because they also were not even able to find out the information about in which languages did this technology operate unless they called individual vendors, which of course is a very lengthy process. So we decided to set out and solve that problem by mapping the legal tech ecosystem.
So when we started gathering all this data, it occurred to us that this sort of solution should already exist. Why hasn't anybody really gathered all of the commercial legal technology tools in one place and make them easily searchable? And as we started to look for all of these tools, we soon realized why. It is really, really hard to find them all. There's a few, there's a couple of well-known lists that are out there that we found were out of date or not accurate or not relevant. So we started using different manual processes to gather all this data. We looked at all those lists. We asked our peers and our contacts within the industry. We called people. We chatted to people, and we started to put all this together.
We went to websites of all of the different technology tools, and we set out to build a taxonomy that works. One thing that it's been really interesting since launching our solution is that people think it's just a simple directory. But in fact, in order to make a search work really effectively, you have to decide what filters are going to appear on which type of content and what the taxonomy should be. So we spend a lot of time working, as Chris said, with our peers in the industry to understand how would they want to search for these tools? What are the types of search terms that make sense to them? And building out a taxonomy of functionalities that made sense to them. We also developed the ability to browse by use case, which meant that we took our lists of functionality and then put a number of each functionality underneath a more umbrella term that related to a particular use case, because we recognize that sometimes people would like to browse in that way. And so this is just a little chart that shows my handwritten notes around trying to do this, and then how it actually ended up in the system itself. And along the way, we were very user focused at every step.
Yeah, we went to our peers in the industry. We went to people like Nikki, people in innovation and knowledge, people in IT, practice management, and we asked them, how do you want to search for the right solution? I mean, what are the filters that you need? We talked about language, we talked about functionality, but we went even deeper, and we talked about tools that are focused on a particular type of business, like a small law firm or large law or corporate or even small business. So that's how we built our approach to actually building our search.
And we made sure that we kept people in the loop who were from all over the world, so that we were capturing a really global user base.
So what we have a philosophy called egalitarianism. So basically, we want to give the opportunity on Legaltech Hub for any company anywhere in the world, doesn't matter what language they're in, doesn't matter how big they are or where they're headquartered, to compete on the strength of their solution. We want to make sure that we have a legal technology company in Ulaanbaatar, for example, in Mongolia. If that is the right tool with the right technology, we want to give that tool the opportunity to compete against the big players like Thomson Reuters in the market to win business. So that's the way we've approached our listing.
We also made sure that the filters we had on the site would support global use cases. So you are now able to actually find technology by doing a search for a particular functionality, and then filter down not just by the language of the platform itself, but also by the linguistic efficacy. So an AI tool might have a platform language in say Portuguese and Spanish and French and English, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the AI or the natural language processing in the tool has the capability of reading those languages as well. So we have captured both of that to allow firms to really find what they need. You can also filter by where a particular tool is headquartered, by where they have office locations, and also by target entity, which means that if you're a corporate in-house department and you want to find just the tools that are geared towards corporates, you can do that on the site. Or if you're small law, you can filter down. Once we had developed our solution to the point where it was ready for use, we had a beta with a number of our contacts across the world, our beta group, to really make sure that they were happy with the way that the system worked, and we took their feedback into account and tweaked the solution accordingly.
So one thing that we've found since we started gathering all this data, less than a year ago, just over a year ago, is that many of the tools have, even in a year, have stopped being in business, have gone out of business, or have been acquired, mostly by Litera, but some have been acquired by others. So what in our Legal Technology Hub website, we've actually tracked which is quite interesting, the number of tools and the specific tools that have gone out of business, and the tools that have also been bought or merged with others.
And we've been asked for help with academic research from various institutions across the world, including the University of Oxford, on behalf of the Solicitors Regulation Authority in the UK, because we are starting to have data that really nobody else has in the market. On the page, you will also find legal tech resources. So especially for those people who are starting out in legal technology or legal innovation, this pulls together a lot of helpful resources, blogs that are really instrumental in the industry, it's helpful to read on a regular basis, podcasts to listen to, and video content to watch. And for those of you listening, if there are significant blogs in your country that you think should be included on our site, please don't hesitate to send those suggestions to us, because we're always building this out and growing it.
And we also want you, if there are tools, if there are legal technology tools that you know of that aren't listed on Legal Tech Hub, please tell us. We want to make sure we are the most comprehensive listing in existence.
Just be aware, though, that we do only capture tools for the commercial legal market at the moment, not access to justice. And that's because what we want is really to provide a very targeted and useful tool for people who are driving innovation in the commercial legal space.
One thing we talk about when we build this was a phrase called democratizing legal tech. I talked about it before, where we want to give every tool the opportunity to compete on the global stage, and we also want to maintain that that Legal Tech Hub will always be free to list and free to use. We do, of course, offer enhanced listings and opportunities to advertise, but we want to make sure that if it is the legal technology tool, they will have a free listing on Legal Tech Hub. We also support causes like the Center for Legal Innovation, Law Without Walls, because we truly believe in developing legal technology and access to justice throughout the world. We also have a resource on our page which is quite interesting, Legal Tech Jobs, which offers a platform for anyone around the world to look for jobs, employment in legal technology.
And by the way, that's an affiliation we have with the person who developed that site, Dan Van Simpson, who's based in Belgium, who's fantastic. So we are trying to build ecosystem partners in the market that really allow Legal Tech Hub to succeed, but also will help other associations with the same philosophies around egalitarianism and providing ways to move forward in the market and to drive positive change.
So when we launched in late 2020, we already had a robust network of peers and contacts that were engaged with us, but we've really enjoyed how the traffic and the referrals have taken off. We've had a lot of people around the world in knowledge, innovation, practice management, and beyond, including legal education, start to refer us throughout their networks. And we've had some very influential people talk about us and promote us. So we've really seen an enjoyable increase in traffic and a loyal fan base from all around the world. We've now hit 111 different countries. People from 111 different countries have browsed and used Legaltech Hub.
And we have tools on there from over 64 countries.
And then I like to make a bit of a big deal about our number of Twitter followers. For a while, when we would hit 747 or 767 or 787, I would put the appropriate Boeing plane up on Twitter just to celebrate it. But that's just a little bit of a way of celebrating our Twitter followers.
We were lucky to get quite a lot of media coverage when we launched. And that means that Chris and I have been on podcasts and interviewed for a number of industry papers. But we have a roadmap for the future as well. We launched our events directory in February of this year, which allows you to see all of the major legal innovation and legal technology events around the world in one comprehensive location, and to click on a calendar view, which really gives you a visual as to what's coming up next. We are also launching additional directories on consultants in this field, courses and certifications for those looking for education, and legal tech associations or groups.
Like Legal Hackers.
Exactly. We are also going to be launching some premium features, including a compare feature, which will allow us to compare easily, will allow users to compare easily various solutions against one another across the data points. We'll be building out our data points and providing some content affiliated with the site as well. And we will be looking towards ratings and reviews in due course also. So in putting together our solution, one of the perhaps unintentional side effects is that we've learned quite a lot about legal technology across the world and the way that it evolves. In particular, we've been able to look at regions and identify why legal tech emerges in a particular landscape. What we've noticed is that the number of lawyers per population seems to have an impact on legal technology and growth, regulatory changes. So as I mentioned before, those regions where the legal industry has been deregulated and it's possible for non-lawyers to own law firms or direct law firms, that has a significant impact on the amount of innovation in those regions. Industries or regions where clients have organized and demanded change in the market, that's where we see a lot of growth. An example of that is in Brazil, where clients, well before CLOC, which is the client-side in-house counsel organization that operates in the US, but also in Australia, well before CLOC emerged in Brazil, clients got together and really insisted that fees in law would be determined the way that they say, not the way that law firms say. And that has had a big impact on the legal industry there. The volume and size of deal work and whether it's cross-border work has an impact, because obviously new need arises when you're doing a lot of deals that involve multiple jurisdictions. And support for startups and innovation generally from the government also has a significant impact. But one thing that's quite interesting is that the enthusiasm of young lawyers seems to be a real indicator of the rise or growth of legal technology in a region. So we put the Legal Hackers logo here because the rise of organizations like Legal Hackers is always indicative to us that this is an area where, if there hasn't yet been a lot of growth of legal technology companies, there is soon going to be that growth. Other indicators of potential growth or growth that is sort of bubbling away, that is about to boom, include law students becoming really active, developing their own organizations or associations, where an association is developed within a region that actually promotes legal technology and holds events, especially when those events become an annual fixture. That's a clear indication that legal technology is about to boom in a way that perhaps hasn't yet happened in a region. Government initiatives that really support innovation, and courts starting to look at legal technology are other indicators that this is happening. The other thing that is really interesting is that we've been able to, just from the way that legal technology has evolved in different regions, we have been able to put together a bit of an indicator of maturity on legal technology. What almost always comes first is access to justice. So students, again, are often the first people to really start agitating for technology in support of law. And this is very often done at universities around access to justice needs. So these are the tools that evolve first. After that, they tend to be tools around document automation and practice management. Every small firm needs a way to operate, and practice management technology provides that. Once that has evolved, more sophisticated tools around matter management or experience management, as well as knowledge management, are developed. And finally, the most sophisticated tools start evolving. Expert systems such as Neurologic, Brighter, and then data analytics and AI tools are real indications that a market has reached peak maturity in a region. Chris, do you want to talk a bit about the regional snapshots?
Yeah, we also are aware that there are several organizations out there that try and release annual reports giving you a snapshot of various regions. So we thought we'd put a bit of work, well, when I say we, I mean Nikki, put a bit of work into putting together regional snapshots, which just give you an idea of where each region is in their maturity level for legal technology. Obviously, that North America and Europe will be a bit more mature and advanced, but we also talk about the other regions around the world and areas of opportunity that we've identified for them. We are working on some sub-regional snapshots to get even more granular. For example, we would like to put together a Nordics snapshot for within Europe, as well as passing out South America into the Caribbean and the continent, the southern continent, that sort of thing.
So in Europe, what's interesting is that there are 380 solutions for the commercial legal market that are headquartered in Europe currently. That's compared to the USA that has 780 solutions for the commercial legal industry. The USA is, of course, far and away the most prolific in the development of this kind of technology, but that has so much to do with market size. In the UK, there are 167 tools, and in Australia, 84.
This is a good time to tell you that when we launched, or when we were developing this, we were hoping to have 500 total tools on our database. We launched with over 1,600, and now we are over 1,700. So there are far more commercial legal technology tools than we, or frankly anybody else, really thought they were out there, and we are constantly adding more.
So I'm actually going to stop the slideshow now and take you into a little demo. And Ernesta, can you let me know whether you can still see my screen? I've just switched applications.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Wonderful, thank you. So I'm sure many of you have browsed on Legaltech Hub before, so we won't spend too long, but I just wanted to quickly show you how this works for those of you who may not have. So you scroll down and you see our graveyard and our consolidations, but the main feature on the page is a search. And the default is our tools. It allows you to, as you can see, there's a drop down. So if I'm looking for something, I can actually find it quite easily. Synthea, click on it, and there's the listing. I can click on the tool itself, and it takes me to a more detailed description of the tool and technology. And then it also shows me similar results from across the world. And you'll see here is Cicero, the one that I was mentioning, which is so difficult to find on Google. Another way you can search is by functionality. So let's say I'm looking for an expert system tool. I can click on expert systems. There are 12 of them in the system. And another way that we can search is if you want to see all of the results together, just enter no search term, click on the magnifying glass. You can see we now have 1,718 tools, and you're then able to use our filters to browse through them. So say you want to find, let's go to something fairly ubiquitous and say we want a practice management tool. There are 299 of them. But we want one that is, let's say we don't care so much about headquarters, but we want to make sure that the languages accommodated are English and also, say, French. You can see that the results change in real time. So we're down to 247. Say we're actually a corporate in-house department searching. You can apply that filter. We're down to 88 tools. Say you want to make sure that it is able to be deployed on-prem. We're down to 14 tools. And say you want to make sure that it integrates with, let's say, Microsoft. You can apply that filter as well, Microsoft Office, and we have one tool. So it provides a really nuanced way of searching for what you're looking for. And then once you click on something, it actually gives you, again, more information, and you can click to go straight to the website and find out more. I also want to show you our events directory. So again, you can enter ILTACon as sort of the biggest, let's say ILTACon Europe. It will take you there. It's happening this year in Europe in November. So it will show you on the calendar when it's happening. It will give you a little note about the format for this year and what this conference is about, as well as the audience it's targeting. So this is for anyone in innovation, in IT, in knowledge management, etc. Another way of searching for events is, let's remove this filter. We have 91 events right now. You can click on the calendar. We're in April. Let's see what's coming up. So here's the calendar view. We can see that this week we had an in-house council conference, and next week there are lots of things on. The future is now, legal services, a summit on legal innovation and disruption in Europe. We can go there and see that it is complimentary, so it's free, and you can register by clicking on the website. So again, that's a really helpful thing for the most part. Otherwise, we've been keeping our own lists of events at law firms and not really quite knowing when something is happening. Here is the legal tech resources. So again, the blogs that you can browse through, the podcasts that you can listen to, and video content for you to watch. And then just going into regional snapshots, since we have Europe and parts of Africa on the line, just to show you again the European analysis and then the saved search. And now you can dig in, you know, I want to know, let's see, Lithuania. Oh, there are no commercial legal tools for Lithuania.
Come on, Lithuania.
Let's go to
We are still creating.
There you go, which is wonderful.
Hurry up!
But actually we do have some, and I will contact you with
Yes.
references.
Please
Definitely.
do. But it's a good, I mean, Lithuania is a good example of a place where we know there is a lot of activity in the market because of all of you guys, the legal hackers out there. So we recognize that this is happening there, which to us indicates that there will be soon commercial legal tools. And it sounds like there are already some. Estonia already has 8, and the Baltics are quite an active region. Certainly the Nordics are as well. And just to give you a brief overview as well.
But that also
Africa,
means that Mongolia is more advanced than Lithuania.
Oh,
just saying.
Come on.
Just saying.
All right. So here we have results in Africa for the commercial legal market, 27 solutions listed. For those of you listening, we'd love to know what else there is that we should be included. Just to confirm that we would like to have solutions for the commercial legal market or that have applicability to commercial. We may build out access to justice tools at some stage, but we have not done so yet. And just to just show you the graveyard very briefly, these are tools that have sadly passed since we started collecting data. You can click into them to find out a little bit more. We will often talk about it. Sometimes I'll put an article here so that you can see a little bit more about what the market said about the fact that this is no longer alive, as it were. But that's it. We also have the consolidations for the acquisitions. And other than that, I'm actually going to stop sharing to give us a few minutes to answer any questions that all of you might have.
Yes, so this is the very right time to give us questions. Those who are watching us on YouTube channel, please use our chat and give questions to Nikki and Chris. And I would like to check when you have started to create the tool.
So the idea we had in 2019, we started collecting data in late 2019, and we launched in October 2020 last year.
You mentioned that the process of, collecting the data been really challenging because you had to check, all the information. So I am wondering how exactly you've been checking. Have you been, interviewing people, traveling, meeting them? How you pick, the tools?
Look, we started with Nikki's knowledge for a start. She said, look, there's a few lists out there that are okay to check, and we started with them. We used the Stanford Codec.
But then we went very quickly to the actual tool.
Then we would go to the actual tool sites themselves. We did Google searches, on which we learned were inexact. We asked people in the industry, give me all the chat bot tools that you know of, and we started to sort of build from there. And then we actually went out to the market in social media and said, look, guys, help us out here. Let us know what we're missing, and then we'd build it from there. It's a very inexact science and very inexact process, which is why nobody has done it before, because it is such a manual process to do.
We have a script now that we can run across all of the tools, so that we know quickly when one has gone defunct, when one is no longer viable in the market, and that allows us to keep the list maintained and updated, which is a problem we found with a lot of the other directories, is that they were not maintained. But most of it was just, research, doing Google searches on all kinds of things, weeding through all the results, going to websites, talking to people, understanding what the functionality really is, reaching out to the vendors. So it was a long process.
Another thing that I think is important to note, Ernesta, is that we control all the content on our site. So even if the claim is that a tool does various different functionalities, we go and look and research to make sure that the functionality and all the other information is actually accurate and updated. So we've had people actually approach us and tell us that their tool does more than what it actually does, and we've had to push back and say, no, we're going to have to only say this functionality, for example.
Another thing is where I perhaps would like to get your thoughts, because quite often I am hearing, that legal tech tools is something what is for only for creators, that even lawyers are unwilling to use them. And if there are kind of tools for users, they are also unwilling to use them. So what do you think? Is it easy to create, for example, a legal tech tool for a lawyer which would be usable, especially in a small law firms, boutiques? Because a week ago we had really interesting discussion here in Lithuania, where one of our co-organizers said that he would love to use, legal tech tools, very practical ones, very great ones, so it would be easy to learn and use them. Because why people are not using technologies normally, because it takes a lot of time to learn.
So, I mean, two things. One of the problems currently is that people have grown up with iPhones and iPads, so they expect technology to work like magic. And legal technology is not yet evolved enough or mature enough to work like magic like an iPhone does. There is a hurdle to learning a new technology. That's the way with anything. All of us have had to go remote over the last year. During our remote times, we've had to learn how to use different platforms for meetings, different tools to collaborate with people. And there is a little bit of a hurdle in learning to understand each of those, but we do it because it was necessary. In my job, I work with lawyers and helping them adopt new technology. So certainly there are many, many tools that are used within law firms. And I do believe that it's possible to create tools that are truly usable. The good ones are those that have been designed with the end user in mind. So they use a service design process of engaging with the user as they are developing to make sure that it actually meets a need and that it is able to be used in a way that makes sense for the user. I dispute that there are no tools that lawyers are willing to use, because I see them using tools every day. But it's not to say that it's easy. Adoption is a major hurdle that we are constantly working towards in law firms. And that's partly why there are roles that for people like me, where we actually put together a strategy around driving adoption for legal technology across the firm.
Thank you. It was really interesting to hear your thoughts. And another thing perhaps could be on cost effectiveness. I know that you have a lot of tools, so could you just, I don't know, kind of play with numbers by giving us visibility, how much those tools could cost? Is it really expensive, or is this something what, lawyers and even students can afford?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and we've had that question before. Look, there's such a wide variety of tools and pricing models. From I've seen practice management tools for small law firms starting at $8 or $9 a license a month, right up to enterprise solutions that we all know are hundreds of thousands of dollars with the bigger
per year
players per year. So there's such a wide variety out there.
I will also say there are really good open source tools, and we include those on the site as well. So there are some tools that are free to use and are open source. So it ranges from free to hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's why we also include the target entity for small law, so that you can look for things that make more sense for a smaller organization. Anesta, I'm very sorry. We actually have to leave at this stage. I had sent you an email to say we unfortunately have to drop a little bit early. We would love to engage in further Q&A. So if anyone has any other questions, please reach out to us. We would be happy to come back just for a conversation session. Also, you can reach, I'm on Twitter, at Nicola_Shaver. And you can find us both on LinkedIn as well, and we'd be very happy to engage further.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Chris. It was a pleasure to have you and hear your thoughts and ideas and the story of Legaltech Hub. I believe that this content has been really very helpful and useful, because I learned myself about Legaltech Hub, I don't know, only a a year ago or a year ago. I don't remember precisely, but that was a huge surprise to me. So but nice one, of course. So thanks a lot again, and hopefully we will meet you again.
That would be
One-
wonderful.
We'd love to. Thank you so much,
much,
Ernesto.
Ernesta.
Thank
you,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
I
Thank
think
you.
it's a pleasure. Thank you.